HoopsOnLane.com Fan Podcast, Episode 47, Penn State Pre-Game.
Hoops on Lane Fan Podcast is sponsored by About Face Cosmetic Therapy Center, because basketball season is also laser hair removal season.
You're listening to Hoops on Lane, a fan-produced pregame and postgame podcast about the Ohio State University men's basketball team. Visit hoopsonlane.com or subscribe where you listen to podcasts for all the latest episodes and information. Now here's your host, Dave Horning.
Greetings, Hoops fans. This is Dave Horning for HoopsOnLane.com Fan Podcast with a preview of the next Ohio State Buckeyes game. A home game coming up this Thursday, January 25th at 8 p.m. Columbus time against the Penn State Nittany Lions at the Schottenstein Center. The game will be broadcast on Big Ten Network and on radio at the Fan 97.1 FM. With its win at home over Nebraska, Ohio State improves to a record of 9 wins and no losses in Big Ten play and moves into sole possession of first place with a half-game lead over Purdue, who has a record of 8-0. Ohio State has moved up to number 13 in the AP poll. Gonzaga is at number 15 and Clemson is at number 18, and those are two teams that beat Ohio State earlier this year. Ohio State is also number 13 in the US Today Coaches Poll, and on the Team Rankings website of all 351 Division I men's basketball programs, Ohio State is ranked number 14 and Penn State is ranked number 134. Only Wisconsin, Iowa, and Illinois are lower-ranked Big Ten teams. Penn State's record in the Big Ten is 3 wins and 5 losses, tied for 9th place with Wisconsin. Penn State's last game was a loss at Northwestern by the score of 61-70. In that game, Penn State was without its best defensive player, 6'4" junior guard Josh Reeves, who missed his 4th game in a row because of problems in the classroom. However, on January 12th, Penn State was able to beat Nebraska at home without the services of Reeves. In that game, they held Nebraska's James Palmer to just 5 points on 1 of 9 shooting. Nebraska's Palmer was the guy who scored 34 against Ohio State on Monday, but maybe Reeves will be back in the lineup on Thursday night. Remember Minnesota's Amir Coffey suddenly starting against Ohio State last Saturday, January 20th, after missing a number of games because of a HAGL injury? If Reeves is still unable to play, Penn State's starting lineup will be number 24, 6'9" sophomore forward Mike Watkins, number 11, 6'8" sophomore forward Lamar Stevens, number 10, 6'5" sophomore guard Tony Carr. Their leading scorer at 19 points per game, that's number 10, Tony Carr. Number 33, 6'2" senior guard Shep Garner, their three-point shooter who makes 41% of his attempts. That's number 23, Shep Garner, and he will take some long ones. And finally, number 5, 6'1" freshman guard Jamari Wheeler. If you see number 23 in the starting lineup or on the court, that's Josh Reeves, so look out for number 23. Penn State is coached by Patrick Chambers in his 7th year. Penn State will need its best defensive effort to compete with the Buckeyes. Ohio State has been in a shooting slump, and if the Buckeyes can pull out of it, it could be a decisive win for the Buckeyes. Ohio State's starting lineup will be number 34, 6'9" freshman center Caleb Wesson. Let's hope he can stay out of foul trouble and get more than 13 minutes of playing time. Number 33, 6'7" junior power forward Keita Bates-Diop, who is now making just 37% of his three-point shots. Number 15, 6'2" senior shooting guard Cam Williams. Number 3, 6'1" junior shooting guard or point guard C.J. Jackson. And number 1, 6'4" senior Jayshawn Tate, point guard or small forward. Ohio State is coached by Chris Holtmann in his first year. Ohio State plays Penn State again this year in State College on Thursday, February 15th, just 3 weeks later. That game could be a tough contest, but I'm hoping the home crowd for this game will give the Buckeye shooters the lift they need to return to good shooting, especially on the three-point shots. In the last 5 games, Ohio State has shot the following on three-point attempts: 17 of 29 against Maryland for 59%, 7 of 21 against Rutgers for 33%, 6 of 17 against Northwestern for 35%, 4 of 20 against Minnesota, that's 20%, 2 of 14 against Nebraska, that's 14%. It's time to reverse this trend line. This is Dave Horning for HoopsOnLane.com Fan Podcast. See you at the shop.